are unable to survive, then we can forget everything else. Forget about serving the Lord. Forget about being well-versed, prepared, ready for RE. You can forget about everything if you cannot survive. But in order for you to survive, it is crucial, it is imperative for you to understand how Satan might work to lead you astray from the path of life. It is important for you to know in which area that Satan might work to confuse you in your journey of faith. So I will continue, even this is the last class. I still want to continue to touch upon the challenges, the danger that Nehemiah dealt with in his work to rebuild the city wall. So yesterday we talked about when Israel for the Jews when they were rebuilding the city wall, they faced three major issues in life. We talk about number one, too much work. Life is too busy, way too occupied, no time. When you have no time for God, then for sure you will not see the power of God. That's a reality. All right? That's a fact that everybody knows. But the problem is, though that we know about such a reality, what do you do about it? It's never about knowledge. Because everything that I say, you probably know it already. Every Sabbath on the pulpit, the message repeats itself over and over, but the problem is, what do you do about it? There was a church member came to me and said that, how come on the pulpit, the message is always the same? It's always about the Bible. You know that at that very moment, I was like, then if it's not from the Bible, what do you want? What do you want for us? Okay. So he was like, oh, the message is always the same. You put down the topic, I knew the content. Can we have something new, something different? Yeah. And I look at this member and I say, well, the message has repeated itself over and over. I know. But the problem is, after all this message, I did not see any transformation in you. Okay. So mean pastor, okay? Something never changed. Yeah. So I told him that as long as you do not change, I will keep on repeating the same message until I see the differences. So it's never about knowledge. You can know as much as the pastor, but the problem is, what have you done about it? Okay? So you know that you should live a more routine, or not routine. You should live a life with more better regulated. Okay. Sleep early, wake up earlier. Don't waste your time on useless things. You know all about this. But the problem is always, then what? Then what? After the seminar, you still go back. And then you immerse yourself in the video games. And then you drown yourself in the Korean drama. Oh, that's, life goes back to the, if nothing changed in your life, then everything that we're doing here is a waste of time. It is a waste of time. You waste your time, I waste mine. If nothing has been done to your life. All right? So number one, life is too occupied. But you have to remember one thing. What were they doing They were building the wall of the holy city. I'm not sure if everybody will agree with me on this one, but I still want to share with you. In my personal opinion, even doing too much holy work can fall into this category. In my opinion, sometimes people feel that if I take a lot of holy work, I'm always busy for the church, then I am very fervent and religious. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Even doing holy work as they were spending all the time getting the building the city wall, the result is too much holy work result in collapsing. So it is always this is something I believe. I always feel this way. It takes wisdom. It takes wisdom to know when to turn down certain holy work. Okay? This is not a permission for you to run away from holy work. Okay? But I'm trying to tell you is, if you just take work upon work, trying to make yourself feel that you are doing a lot for God, to make yourself feel better, there might be a problem. If you feel that by doing a lot of holy work means that your faith is very, very okay, that could be another problem. In my opinion, if you have time to do 10 holy work, and then you take 12, thank God, you trust in God to make up for the your lacking. Okay? But if you are able to do 10, but you take on 20, 25, 30, it only means that you are not thinking. And all the result is that you take everything, you don't have time for it. At the end, either you are unable to do it, or you just do a mediocre job. You just barely hit the deadline. You are just trying to, get by, while other people cannot share the holy work. So it takes wisdom, evaluation, self-assessment. So we need to do a bit more than what we can and trust in the power of the Lord. But when we are unable to see ourselves clearly, lacking of self-assessment, you take everything, you become a problem. Because you took everything that other people did not get to participate. You took so many that you are unable to finish, or you're only able to do a very sloppy and lousy job. That's not faithful. So even lacking of self-awareness, a lacking of self-assessment result in that you serve, then you collapse, just like the Israel. Okay? So may God grant you the wisdom. You do more than you could, but you do not do it without any evaluation. So we talk about too busy, life is too busy. We talk about lacking of discernment, unable to tell that the enemy is among us. And then number 3 is the living style. How do you live your life? Determine if you are able to serve, having the strength to fight. Okay? So when the people that live too close to the enemy, the result is they were always under siege, always living in fear, barely survive, causing a lot of waste of resources. Why? Because they say to Nehemiah, you need to come and protect us. You need to come and protect us. So those people, they were unable to build a wall, but they need to occupy more manpower and resources to protect them. Those people who protected could be used to build a wall and make the progress, but they couldn't. Why? Because they need to be sent to protect those who live very close to the enemy. So young brothers and sisters, you have a lot of choices that you need to make in your life. And at this time, you might feel that you are like the rising sun. There are a lot of future that you dream about. I'm going to get into this company. I'm going to make that much money. I'm going to invest in this and that. Okay? Not sure if any of you invest in the cryptocurrency. But you know that, people call me, ask me for advice. Church member. Yeah, because some of them know that I was a finance background. That's what I studied. So I have member call me. Instead of asking me about Bible questions, they ask me my opinion about the stock market, about the cryptocurrency, about what is the best way to invest. And I told the person, well, even if I know, I'm not telling you. Okay. So I don't know, but perhaps for you at your age, that by a lot of watching a lot of by collecting, by accumulating a lot of information from the news, from the internet, you might also eye on those young people who suddenly become millionaire or even billionaire at the age of 25, at the age of 28. And by watching the news and by receiving those information, are those tempting? Totally. I understand. I will want to be a millionaire. I don't know about billionaire, but millionaire is fine with me. All right. So, you know that want to have a good life, want to own more, is very natural. You want it, I want it too. Okay? So there's nothing to be shamed or do not feel guilty or sinful just because you want a better living. But at the same time, at your age, as you are having a lot of hope for the future or eyeing on the potential of life, that at the same time, you have to ask yourself, are you slowly moving closer to Sodom and Gomorrah? I know you are not right now. The problem is never about now. The Bible says that when Lot separated from Abraham, it was never in his plan to move into Sodom and Gomorrah. It was not. He only said to his uncle, look, the plain of Jordan, well water, beautiful place for my animal. I can build my family. I can raise my cattle. I can provide for my children. This is a good land. That's it. His mentality was very simple. A good place for my family. Can you accuse him for making a mistake? You cannot. You cannot. It's unfair for you to accuse Lot. Oh yeah, you want to go to Sodom and Gomorrah. No, it was never in his plan. But what did the Bible say? The Bible said that he gradually moved his tent towards Sodom and Gomorrah, and eventually he moved in there. He moved in. So it's not about now, it's the direction down the road. As we said yesterday, the 2.5 tribes who decide to live in the east of Jordan, out of good intention, the place is good for my family. That's it. So you know that when you are making a decision of where to work, where to move to, you have to always ask yourself, if you see down the road, where is this direction leading you? Is it leading you to Jerusalem, or is it leading you into Sodom and Gomorrah? That's what you need to find out. And make sure that you find out earlier so that you do not, at the end, live with regret. You know, as a pastor, we do visit remote areas, members who live far away from church. I remember that I visited one family, very, very good members. And after the service in the late evening, when the kids were sleeping, we were sitting there at the dining table and chat. And the brother told me, he said, Pastor, honestly speaking, if I can start all over again, I would not move to this place. He said, I wouldn't. I said, why? Life is good. And you are able to keep your faith. You do RE at home. Every Sabbath, they hold service. And they have their own RE for the kids. So they did what they could. They did what they could to keep their faith in this remote area. They were the only family, only TJC family in the whole state. So I said, but you did very good. And he said, no. He said that many years ago, when he decided to move to that place, it's because of high pay. The company gave him a high offer, and then the location is beautiful environment with very low housing price. So you can basically spend a little to get a nice, fancy, enjoyable property, house. And good school district, so the kids can grow. You know, you pay little, and then you can enjoy the good school district. He said at first, he figured that as long as I can keep the Sabbath on, like we can still keep the faith, holding the Sabbath, do the RE, and which they did. They actually did. But at the same time, he said, now they are having a serious problem. I said, what is the problem? And the brother told me that his children would not attend any church event, would not. I said, why? Because they do not know anyone. He said he had been trying very hard to convince, join SSC, no. Join high school SSC, no. Join something, no. So the kids, the only thing that the children would accept is RE at home, nothing else. Doesn't know any RE teacher, doesn't know other members, and doesn't know any peers in the church around the same age. Nothing. And the kids were still a TJC member basically because they still live at home under the supervision of the parents. The brother told me he had no idea what would happen once they move away. And eventually they would. He just said that I just, pray and ask God to forgive me. So I'm not telling you moving away, living in the remote area, accepting a good offer is wrong. That's not what I'm telling you. I just want you to remember every decision comes with a price. There's always a cost that you have to pay. So, like Pastor Ho, when Pastor Ho was still working, he intentionally took an offer from a company in a location that there were no church and no members. Intentionally. Because he moved there with a dream that 10 years down the road, maybe if God allows, there shall be a house of prayer or a church in here. That's where the Denver location came from. He was in California, comfortably, but he purposely, with a dream, with a determination, with an ambition for the Lord, he moved to a remote area. And many years later, yes, we saw that there were worship place in Denver. If that's your mentality, if that's the reason, that's the driving force, then by all means you go. But if not, do not take the chance. It might come back with a price that's too heavy for you to bear. As I said, the 2.5 tribes that they only make that choice for their children out of the good intention. The land is good for my children. At the end, the children were wiped out, destroyed, annihilated because of that choice. Okay, so the choice that you make today might impact your children and your grandchildren down the road. So are you choosing to live very close to the enemy? I don't know. You just need to go home, check your room, check your computer, check your, I don't know what you have. I found out that in the new generation, security or what am I trying to tell you? Everybody get very sensitive. I don't do this in California. I do this when I was in East Coast, when I was in New York. So you guys are lucky. When I was in New York, during the lunchtime or after the afternoon service, I'll walk around. If I see young people holding the cell phone, I snatch it out of their hand. And then I check their photo album. You see, you guys are, and Chet in the back is like, why? What's wrong with it? See, did you see that? You guys are, no, that's not allowed, privacy. And Chet is like, I thought everybody does that. Yeah, I do that. Because I want to see why are you having something so fearful that you don't want another person to see. I want to find out that why are you setting up so many passwords here and there? Fingerprint, 6 digits password, eyeball, I don't know, face recognition, everything. Why? What is there that you are so scared for anyone to know? I understand if it's your bank account password, okay, that keep it to yourself. But sometimes I get into the phone, I was like, well, wow, so all the album, lock. Everything is locked. Why? I don't really need to see what is inside because by the reaction of the youth, I know it is more than enough for me. When I just took the phone, some kids, some youth just in such a fear that the youth try to find me to get the phone back. Just by that reaction, I know something was wrong in the real life of that youth outside of the church. But the password can keep the pastor away from your photo album, but it would not keep God from your photo album. Remember that. I don't get to see it. In fact, I don't really care. I just like to make your life more miserable. That's just my job. My job is to make you feel uncomfortable. That's my job. But the problem is I don't need to see it. You are not my kids. If it's my kids, I will force them to unlock. But you're not my kids. But I don't get to see it. I don't need to see it. I don't really care about it. But God does care. Okay. So are you very, very close to the enemy? That's something that you need to ask yourself. Because you will be the one deal with the consequence. Okay. So, wow, that's a very, very long review. Okay. Now let's go to let's do chapter 6. Let's go to chapter 6. Now we need to talk about the kind of enemy that we deal with. Chapter 6, from the beginning, chapter 6, verse 1. Now it happened when Zemballat, Tobiah, Geshem, the Arab, and the rest of our enemy heard that I had rebuilt the wall, and there were no break left in it. Okay? So now, in chapter 6, we found 3 commonly mentioned the name. We found the name Zemballat. We found the name Tobiah. We found the name Geshem, the Arab. You found their name since chapter 2, and the name keep on being mentioned all this time. They were the greatest threat, the greatest external, shall we say, external threat. That's a hindering. That was hindering the work of rebuilding the wall. So then here we found that in terms of the enemy that they were facing, the first type, this is only the first type. The first type of enemy is called external threats. External threats. And what are the external threats? Here says Zemballat, Tobiah, and Geshem. Let's go to chapter 2. If you turn to chapter 2, and let's see who they are. In Nehemiah chapter 2, verse 19. But when Zemballat the Horonite, Tobiah the Ammonite, officials, and Geshem the Arab. Okay? So then here the Bible gave us a little bit more information about the external enemy. So who is this Zemballat the Horonite? Horonite is not that important because it's only just a place, a city. But the problem is Horon, the city located in Samaria, in the province of Samaria. So who is Zemballat? He was basically the governor. He was the governor of the province of Somalia. 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 So I heard, of course, when it comes to elaboration of teaching, that I heard different pastors elaborate in different way. That's okay because it's only an elaboration of teaching. But regarding to the city, Samaria, what do we know about them? They were the capital of the northern kingdom of Israel. But the problem is, after the northern kingdom were destroyed by the Assyrian Empire, then the Assyrian Empire moved a lot of people to the city. And then they mingle. And then they that's why the bloodline is no longer pure. That's why you see that in Gospel John, regarding to the Samaritan woman who talked to Jesus about the water, right? So she was very surprised. She said that, hey, you are a Jew. Why are you asking me for water? Because at that time, Jewish people, they look down. They look down on the people in the city of 等一下 Somalia? 奇怪 Samaria. Yeah. So 我怎么一直跑到非洲去 Keep on going to Africa. Yeah. Is the woman of Samaritan, Samaritan, right? So this is the Samaritan woman. She was very surprised that Jesus even talked to her, let alone asking for water, because at that generation they avoid the place. Even for some people, in order to show that they are more religious, they will purposely make a long detour just to avoid the city. They think the city has been defiled because the bloodline is no longer pure. Okay, so when we talk about the Sembala, the Horonite, we are talking about the Samaritan. The Samaritan is known with the meaning of compromising. Mingle with the world. Once you mingle with the world, you are no longer able to be called an Israel. Okay, the people of God. Once you defile the bloodline, once you mingle with the world, then you lose your status. We call that compromise. Okay. So of course, we are not talking about physical mingle of the bloodline. We are talking about in the spirit. If you are unable to maintain the purity of your status, just like what Jesus said, if you want to love God and love mammon, that's not going to work. You can only choose one or the other. If you choose both, it makes you a Samaritan. Okay? Because when you choose both, you mingle. It's no different than walking away from God and become a Samaritan. There's no differences. Right? So number one, the enemy is compromise. In the journey of your life, there will be many times that you need to deal with pressure. You are forced to choose, and then the world will not be very friendly with you. Especially at the beginning of your career path, for you, working hard and found favor in your supervisor's eyes, earn higher income, climbing the corporate ladder is very important. But sometimes the world will force you to make a choice. As I shared yesterday, my boss did not give me any choice. You can either take the promotion and raise, or you can walk. You know, I was going back and forth. I was like, can I not take the promotion? He said no. I was like, how about if I take a demotion? You know, I was like, you know what? You can move me somewhere else. I'll take it. You don't. You know that you are angry. I know, so I can take a demotion. And then he just put the document down and say, take it all. Take the promotion or walk. Walk. Yeah, it's a choice. Sometimes the world will not be so friendly with you, and usually, hopefully, God will allow us to find an easy way. But sometimes there's no easy way. Sometimes there's just no easy way. So if possible, we want to maintain our stability. I'm not telling you that you just have to always quit the job. That's not what I'm telling you. But I'm telling you that there are times that you might be able to work things out. But that's not always the case. When the world leave you no room and corner you, what is your choice? Some people choose to compromise. You know, when Simbala come and say, you do it, you don't take it, you walk. What is your answer? Okay, so number one is about compromising your faith. And this is the most common tactic that Satan used in this generation. Okay, that's number one. Number two, if you look at Tobiah, the Ammonite. So if we trace the history, Ammonite, where did they come from? Ammonite came from Lot and his daughter. So when Lot brought his family, ran away from the city of Sodom and Gomorrah, the wife, we all know, right? The wife turned and become a pillar of salt. And out of fear that Lot took the daughters and then they live on the hill in the cave. We all know about the story. And you find that the consequence, here is the consequence of Lot raising the family in Sodom and Gomorrah. Because the daughters, the girl, their concept is very worldly. Because that's how they will grow. That's how they grow up. So they were in the hill, living in the cave, and the daughter is like, well, we are in the cave. No man. No man, what do we do? Well, I guess dad is the only man. So from such an evil practice, apparently the daughter's concept is different than the concept of Abraham, the concept of the children of God. Why? Because Lot chose to move away from Abraham. Lot chose to move into Sodom and Gomorrah. So as I said earlier, that the family, the brother who from the remote area, he tried very hard to maintain the concept, the faith of the next generation. However, inevitably, the children grow up with a lot of concept from the environment, because that's the majority. Okay? Never hang out with the church brother, never hang out with the church youth. All the friends, everybody they know, except the father and mother, everyone they know are outside of the church. So, of course, their concept is very much like the people outside. So were the daughters of Lot. So as a result, out of the physical lust came the Ammonite. So Ammonite is the result of lust and desires. And that's the second way that Satan destroys our faith today. That we can forget about building the wall of the holy city. For dead men, there's nothing to talk about. You don't need to encourage a dead man. Hey, dead man, get up, build a city wall. Don't bother. Once you are dead, you are dead. Spiritual-wise, the same. It is easy. Right now, at your age, you are the you are the best prey, the best target for Satan to work right now. Why? Because you begin a new chapter of your life. Some of you away from the family, first time ever. You need to make independent decisions. You need to build your life. You just begin your career. Like a lot of things are new to you. Your parents were no longer there to watch you and say, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. So you are independent. You are exposed to the world. Good thing that you are not in Manhattan. Okay, so I don't know, maybe here is a little bit better. Because we have youth, once they get into Manhattan, that they just love that kind of life. So what I'm saying is right now you are in the most critical time of your life. Okay? And and Satan look you as the best prey right now. Like the young, the young animal. First time away from the parents, staggering, trying to survive on their own. They become the easiest target for the predator. Okay? So as I say, the focus right now in your life is very simple. It's not about do more holy work. It's about survive. You just need to survive. You just need to expose yourself to the reality of the world. Sing it, being there. Okay, I guess that's how the world is. No big deal. So if you are able to survive through this age, through these few years, then the journey becomes easier. So second, we see that is the lust, the desire. As I said, the world is not the world that you face is much tougher than my generation. Probably say that to you many times already. When I was in your age, when I was young, we use, when I was in high school or the early time in college, we use what? 56K modem, 33.6K modem. So you have no idea what that is. If you laugh, means that you are old. Yeah. So it's a dial tone. When you connect to the internet, you hear the ding-ga, ding-ga, like make a lot of noise. And once you start using it, you occupy the phone line. And then the next thing that you know is your mom will be shouting from upstairs that, who is taking the phone line? Cut it off. So you just have to, So you know that thing, when you are using that kind of internet, you can forget about all the filthy websites, pornography sites. You can forget about it. Because when you are all excited, no one is looking, you dial in, you click, it's like you are like waiting. And then after 15 minutes, it's still in the forehead. And then you're like, okay, come on. And then you went out, you have something to eat, you have lunch, you come back, up to the nose. So I don't know why you need super fast internet. It's an invitation of temptation. I know you need internet, but I don't know why people keep on like thirst after things that they don't need. It's only an open invitation to Satan and say, come on, I am right here, tempt me. Okay. So of course, that's the life that you choose. That's the life that you choose. They just have to deal with the result. So in here, so in your age, lust is a great challenge. It's a fearful challenge that you need to deal with. And number three, talking about Arab. Arab came from Isaac's brother, Ishmael. So where did Ishmael came from? Ishmael represent human will. That's Abraham. Abraham trying to use the human way to accomplish the will of God. That's where Ishmael came from. Okay, and as the result, the human way caused the killing between the siblings for thousands of years until today. Even until today, Israel and Arabic, they were still like killing each other. All from where? From Abraham trying to fulfill God's will with his own idea. So the third danger in our generation, the third challenge in building the city wall is what? Is when you feel that you know better and more than other people. It's when you feel that what I think is the will of God. It's when you feel that this is my life. I am in control. Nobody tell me what to do. You know that in our society, we focus a lot about individualism. Okay, so we were taught that you are your own master. Let nobody tell you what to do. You control you are the ruler of your own life. Don't let anyone control you, not even your parents. Right? So you know that in this environment, we were brought up giving a lot of this individualism and result in a lot of self-centeredness. Okay, let no one tell you right and wrong. Let no one rule you to decide what you should do, what you should not do. That's what the society is telling you. And if you do that, then you become what? You become the Gation, the Arab. Nobody tell me what to do, not even God. This is my life. I decide. God can be my advisor, but God cannot be my master. So Arab represent very strong ego, very strong self-centeredness, very strong individualism, very strong worshiping the idol. But who is the idol? I am the idol. I am my own God. I am my own God. Today, nobody, I believe that in here, none of you will ever go into the idol temple and kneel down to worship the idol. Nobody will do that. None of you will do that. But is there a chance for you and I to worship the idol? Totally. Totally. In 1 Thessalonians, it says that the Antichrist, the Antichrist, they climb up to the altar of the Lord, and then they sit on the throne, and then they act like they are God. That's the Antichrist. They feel that they act like they are God. But what is this about? What is this acting like God? What is this Antichrist? It could exist in any of us. It could. If we allow ourselves to become a sole decision maker in our life, then we are worshiping idol. And that idol has exactly the same face as you, as yourself. Sometimes I have youth call me and ask me about some difficult struggle in life. It could be about marriage. It could be about career. And usually I begin by asking, have you made up your mind yet? Some of them being very honest, they say, yeah, my parents say no, but I'm going to do it anyway. And I say, then why are you calling me? You think I got nothing else to do? Yeah. Again, mean pastor. Only me, nobody else do that. Other pastors are very nice. And I just, why do you even bother calling me if you make up your mind already? In terms of marriage. I said, well, your parents are against it. So have you talked to them? He said, no, it's my marriage. I make up my mind. We even prepare the banquet. We charter the banquet and everything. I was like, you are wasting my time. You are wasting my time. If you made up your mind, you made the decision already, don't call me. And I got angry when he said that, oh, but we are still praying for the will of God. And I was shouting on the phone saying, you hypocrite. Yeah. I say, you know what? You can marry whoever you want because it's your marriage, it's your choice. Don't you dare, I was on the phone, don't you dare to use the name of God. If you decided already, then what are you praying about? What are you praying about? What's the point of prayer if you decided already? What's the point of calling the pastor if you decided already? For you are worshiping yourself. Because he said that my decision is final. Then, you know what? You are your own God. So be it. It's okay. You are your own God. You are worshiping idol. That's between you and God. That's not my business. So in book of Ezekiel, it says that the Lord said to prophet Ezekiel, the Israel invite the idol. They invite the idol into their heart, the false God into their heart. So the Lord said, I shall not be inquired by them. I will not answer them. Why bother? So this is Arab. This is the decision of Abraham. I am going to do it my way. That's fine. It's your life. But don't you ever dare to say that, oh, I pray about it. That prayer is useless. It's no different than the prayer of the Pharisee when no one is listening. Once you make that the decision, please don't bother. Don't even pray because that prayer only anger God even more. Okay? So I am totally behind in my original plan as usual. But it's okay. Time's up. So young brothers and sisters, it is our greatest wish. It is our greatest wish to see all of you able to survive in this storming age. You are very vulnerable. Maybe you don't feel so. Maybe you feel that you are at your prime. You can conquer the world. You can be who you want to be. But at the same time, spiritual-wise, you are at the most vulnerable age. And the only thing that I, along with many other workers in the church, we just wish that you can survive. That you can survive until you reach a certain age. Realize, oh, I was pretty childish before. I was quite immature. Now I know what I should do. So once you are able to survive to that full-grown time, that will be the greatest comfort for your parents, for your RE teacher, and for your pastor. That's all. Kneel down and pray in one accord. In the name of Lord Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.